Hello and thank you for watching. Today's gonna be a big update. I've got some story time for you here. This car, and I was out working and something felt a little bit weird. But, got to the spot and I did my job. And then once I was done, I started leaving. And this is when things went down. It got really loud all of a sudden, right? And it's about, it was about 104 degrees this day. And next thing you know, it just gets extremely loud out of nowhere, like complete break in the exhaust in the front side of here. So I stopped the car. And keep in mind that this Nissan is very low to the ground. I mean, I've got maybe that much clearance, which not like you can gauge that from here, but not very much clearance. I can't get my whole body up under there. And the ground was probably searing at like 130 degrees. Not really sure, not something that I wanted to put my sweaty, skin on the ground for. So my O2 sensor and the extender, bung extender, O2 sensor extender, came off in one piece and started dangling because when I started driving, all of a sudden I kind of hear like a tapping like that every now and again, And then all of a sudden, well, that's when I stopped. I figured out that the O2 sensor was actually just unscrewed itself from the pipe, and then next thing you know, it's just dangling. I can't get up under there while I'm on the street to actually save the O2 sensor by actually unplugging it or hanging it up on something so then it just wasn't dragging and dangling, because that's what was dangling on the motor. Well, seeing how I couldn't get anywhere to get it up in the air, I didn't have a jack with me or anything like that. Next thing you know, you hear one hell of a loud, and then it's just gone. No more tapping of any sort. So I even tried going back and trying to find it so then I could, use the O2 extender, bung extender thing if I could, but it was nowhere in sight. I went down that street, which was a side road, probably 4 or 5 times. I didn't see it either way, in the middle or anything, but regardless, that happened. So I have yet another exhaust leak at the test pipes. So with the other one being welded and this one there was a driver's side that actually dropped it. So that's going to end up being replaced as a pair, and I just might be able to get exhaust headers for this as well. So then it's brand new, everything from the motor to the Y pipe, and go from there. Now, the second part of this story for this car is that I feel like every time I get a car, it has like a soul. Does it seem like your car has a vibe to it or a name? Anyway, I named my car Monica after Fast and the Furious. Well, rightfully so, my car Monica here got pissed at me, and when I went to go on a work site, it left me stranded. It kept turning over and over and over until it didn't want to anymore. So I think the battery got heat soaked and it just didn't want to actually do anything anymore. Here with the heat in the south, the heat really beats up the batteries, so the lifetime of batteries are really short. A battery in Ohio, I would, on average, was 3 to 7 years you could live off of that battery before you had to replace it. But down here, it seems like every 1.5 to 2 years. So that's what I have with this one, leaving me stranded at the work site, but for good reason. So if you can tell, this is the right side, which I usually work on the opposite side, and this is just barely tucked in here because finally I got a truck, and I'm quite happy. It needs a lot of work, but the bare bones of this truck is all there. This left me stranded twice, and once was when the motor blew. The second time was the other day when this showed up, and she didn't like it. So the very next day, she didn't want to start on the job or whatever, and left me stranded. But luckily, I had the actual charger down there in the trunk, so I was able to snag a extension cord and actually hook it up to the battery. I think it was heat soaked, but got that restarted and went home after that, and now I have this to work on. Oh, and the current mileage on it right now is 204,579. So 204,579 is the mileage on the Z currently. Now, this is the 2003 Chevy S10. I think it's the regular cab because it doesn't have anything going on like extra back here or no third door or anything like that. So this is a manual transmission. It's been sitting for about 2 years under a pretty big tree. And that's why this is... It's gonna need a wash. So I've been kind of cleaning a little bit of the driver's side over there. I had it towed in over here. The previous owner did state that I could probably jump the battery that was completely dead and drive it home, but I just wanted to tow it just because I had towing and I don't have to pay for it each and every time. It's kind of like a monthly subscription type deal. Now that is the battery that came with it, and it was completely dead. I put my different chargers on it, and it didn't want to go over 3 volts. Most of the time it was at 1 volt, so that was just a big old nope. It's not gonna leave me stranded off of a old battery from I don't even know when. But what I did have, I didn't have another side post battery, but I do have a top post battery. So earlier today, I actually went down to Napa and they had side terminal adapters. So I could use the battery that I have a spare here, and I adapted that. Let me show you. Now, this is the 2.2 liter, which is good for gas mileage, and that's all I want. I'm not looking to haul the 30-foot yacht yet. Okay, so this 2.2 is perfect for me. And this is what I was talking about with the battery. They have these little posts right here, and they actually convert your side battery wiring, and you just twist them into that, and then that goes on your top post. So I got a pair for that, and they were under $20 for the pair. And I went ahead and put that on that battery that I know is good. And this one's a little bit weaker. I think the other one was 630 cold cranking amps, and this one is 525. But I know that this one somewhat works, at least for testing purposes. I can actually, try and do that. This was from me. It's completely... I've been trying to vacuum a little bit of the stuff because, again, it was sitting under a tree, and there's a lot of debris and cleaning to do, but I did do the basic checks to see if I could get it started, in which case, I have started it twice now. And first time, it started wonderfly, even sitting for 2 years or so. It's just started like I started it last week. Now, I went ahead beforehand and I made sure that the air cleaner didn't have any extra people living in here, little miniature mice or anything like that. The air filter was actually replaced sometime recently. That doesn't look bad at all. I could knock that on the ground and definitely keep that. But I do have to watch out for that. I do have something that's going to be inoperable, and I'm gonna have to actually do some wiring and reconnecting because mice did get to some of the actual wires in it, but it's not that bad. And well, as you know, it actually does run, and I'll show you what came out the exhaust. Just a lot of crud and rust and leaves going on. So yeah, I have a whole laundry list of things I want to do to this, like maintenance wise, and make sure that it's kept up and in great running order. Serpentine belt, all the fluids need to be checked. Make sure that there's no leaks. The radiator might be in question only because I see a little bit of orange on the other side of the radiator, so that might be an issue later. But it has power steering fluid. I did check the oil, which is back there on that little piece. But this actually looks like the bare bones are really, really good. The rocker panels are completely solid. The truck bed doesn't have any dents in it. Everything almost works. Every major component of the AC system was actually replaced, so I'm gonna try and get that working again, because it's hotter than the devil's butt crack down here some days. So let's see if you can hear this. Listen to that. Sitting for 2 years and this thing comes to life. This is now the third time I have actually started this. Once after I got the battery in here. So now this is the third time. It has a modified exhaust on it, in which case I am going to change it and make it a little bit quieter. But I mean, look at this. Plenty of oil pressure. Comes with a half a tank of gas. And the volts are up. And look at that, 104,000 miles, 104,812. That is so low. Solid truck, rocker panels are solid, good oil pressure, low mileage. I have an ABS light, but as far as the interior, I'm gonna have to clean the crap out of everything because it's gonna need some help. You know, usual things. Rear view mirror fell down, so I'm gonna have to actually glue that up and get that back in there. Obviously get the AC running. I'm gonna get that knob replaced. Do any of you remember this radio? This was such a mass-produced radio for Chevy for a while, so that works. Stick shift definitely needs a good scrubbing. And there's a leak down on this side is wet, and I do believe that is the door sill, because once you look up you can, yeah, there's a problem area up there. So I just have to figure that out and make sure that works. And like I said, there's a lot more to do in here, and this is basically here to let the 350Z actually relax. I can start actually getting parts together and doing a lot more with it, and while it's down, and have more downtime instead of having to cram it together so quickly. So I still have a lot of cleaning to do, but oh yeah, Can I take one of these off? Nope, those are stuck. Okay, so I just have one that's broken. Okay, whatever. But yeah, even has the little third row back seat kind of thingamabobber back there. Overall, not bad. I like this. This will definitely help out trying to not put the mower in and out of the Z so much, because my goodness, I don't want to tear that car up. And it's a nice car, especially when I actually don't have it covered in grass and smelling like all that work load all day long. So now I can kind of concentrate on getting this thing running, and this is the longest I've actually ran it right now. Temperature is almost up, and oil pressure is still up, gas is still there, and it still looks like I'm creating some kind of a voltage. So yeah, this ain't bad. Oh, the RPM gauge doesn't work. Okay. So there's something else that I'm gonna have to address later, is the RPM gauge doesn't work right now. Now, I've stopped by and I've seen this truck personally about 50 plus more times, but as I'm getting this towed to the house, I am looking at it and I describe it as red, and she tells me that it's not red, it's pink. It's hot pink. And I start to look at it closer, below all the nice green patina here, and lo and behold, it actually is. It is a sparkly of some sort. You can see a little bit of the glitter through there on camera. It is a hot pink. So, as much as I like and appreciate a good truck, hot pink is not my color to roll around in. So what I'm going to end up doing is, well, I did always want to paint that car, and now maybe I can practice on this truck. I'm gonna go ahead and paint this. I don't know which color yet, but I am gonna paint this as soon as I can. That's just not for me. Not today. Not in an S10. Maybe it was something old school and cool as heck, and a really, really nice pink hot, you know what I mean, job or whatever, paint job. I could do it, but this is a rattle can. You can see around the edges here and up there. I don't think I'm gonna really hurt anything if I go ahead and spray paint anything on here. So that's gonna be coming up soon. All the maintenance is gonna be coming up soon on this. I worked my butt off and trying to actually use that all the time, and now I can actually, this is mine. I'm super happy. I wanted something that was a little bit fuel savvy or whatever, so I'm not just burning through fuel, you know, barely touching the gas on this, because this is more so a work truck. I'd love to get a bigger truck later once I can actually afford all the gas for it, but this will suit me just perfectly, especially with what I want to do, which is going to be a future surprise for the channel. But I do have goals for what I want to do with this truck besides just work, so hopefully stay tuned for that. There's not much you can do for power wise than to add to this. I hear something called a quad 4 throttle body, which I'm not exactly sure what that is, but obviously a little bit of an intake, a little bit of an exhaust for the header, and that's pretty much all you can do for power for this, which I'm not really looking to add power. I would have liked an automatic, just simply because getting in and out of the truck or whatever, it's a lot of body movement coming from work into a stick shift vehicle. It's more on the body. So what I want to do is go ahead and actually but I'm okay with with having another stick shift. She starts, it runs. I haven't actually driven it myself or tried to move it on, put it in gear yet. But I do know that the e-brake works. Like I said before, that was the longest I've actually ran it. So I'm going to be checking to make sure that there isn't any issues. There's that red area I was talking about that might become an issue later. The actual battery tray, if you can see down there, is completely rotted out. That's about the only thing that I can see is rotted out, which I believe is the previous owner probably jumping it time after time with a dead battery, so then the dead battery heats up too much off of the charge of the alternator, thus spewing the acid out, and the acid will eat through the metal pretty darn quickly, because again, this is a really solid truck and nothing's really rusted or anything, even on the back end, which I will show you the back end soon on the next one probably. I just wanted to get you guys updated and let you guys know what was going on. Like, I'm back at it, like a crack addict or a car addict. Either way, that one gets to rest now. I still have to do all the registry and everything for this, but this is totally mine. I just have to get it insured, and then I'll start driving this one, even though it has tires from 2013. Until the next one, I super appreciate everybody watching. I hope everybody has a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.